All right, so 2020 is pretty much in the books finally. So taking some time off from YouTube, not that anybody really cares, but I have something worth making a project out of. A little shake there, sorry about that. 2021 race season hopefully is going to be a little bit better than what 2020 was, and for that reason I'm going to do a little build series on a project I've got right now, and I think you might like it. Let me go pull it out real quick. Hear me now a little bit better than being outside in the wind. And as I was saying, 2021 is hopefully a year that I can get back into doing more autocross, road racing, and track support, that kind of stuff. Prior to moving where I am now, it's all I had done for years was just track prep, track day service, and just custom builds. Where I am now, that's not really a thing. It's not really possible. There's literally zero businesses in this town of, I don't know, 1,000 people. I don't know what it is, but it's a good sized city. There's not a single dedicated motorsports shop here. It just has to do with clientele. Most people are DIYers. So when this opportunity came up, I definitely jumped on it, and I'm happy to give more than 100% to make sure that this project not only lands on budget, but performs like I'm imagining it should. So we've kind of identified a bunch of areas that the car is here for, and then I can kind of expand on that as it goes on. So this will hopefully be about a month, maybe 2-month project, depending on how much I can just dedicate directly to this project. For the next month or 2 months, this is pretty much going to be it. So I appreciate this opportunity to kind of jump back into doing my own YouTube videos. I want to also take a minute to say thank you to anybody who stopped over from Motion Auto TV. There's a lot that I do off and on with Trevor at Motion Auto TV. I know that some people have come on here and subscribed, probably unsubscribed, just as quickly, because I haven't done anything for 2 years on the channel here, but this will be a good opportunity to kind of make a build series on what a club or spec race car can be. This one specifically is going to be racing in the SCCA ST3, which is Super Touring class, in the categories 3. This has to match those requirements. So there are certain things where we're kind of stumbled by. We can add a splitter, we can add a diffuser, we can do some different things to the body here and there, but we can't do a flat floor. And the flat floor is probably one of the biggest elements to an overall aero package. So a lot of times you'll see videos on YouTube that talk about the total package, and the flat floor on a serious track car, if the rules allow for it, is a fundamental piece of that. I haven't seen a whole lot of YouTube videos on the planning and what goes into doing aero for a class that doesn't allow for a flat floor, and because of that, you kind of have to change your approach on how you're doing certain things. Also, the splitter that I'll make on this, I'm going to make probably 2 or 3 different types of splitters, starting with your basic flat single plane splitter, some maybe different side plate elements, things like that, and then I'll get into a more elaborate splitter for what I think would be a more complete package for what we're allowed to do in this class. And we'll kind of compare the two. You're the basic splitter that you can buy, you know, sort of prefabbed or make yourself out of basic stuff, and compare it to something that actually has a little bit more thought to it and see what the difference is. I look forward to breaking those things up into different, you know, sub videos basically. You know, there's going to be probably an upcoming video on the total aero package and what the goals for the aero package is and how I'm going to approach those things. Going over the rule books for ST3, and I think ST1 through 3, 1 through 4 is pretty close to the same rules, or maybe it's like 4 through, I think they're up to 6 now, is a separate, more limited set of rules. So hopefully this, you know, finds, you know, home with somebody that needs to basically put together a package like this. But the big thing before we can get into really any of the aero stuff is we got a pretty good laundry list of fabrication and some mechanical stuff that need to take place on this project before I can really jump onto anything else. The thing that's going to start this whole project is kind of looking at the overall package of mechanically what needs to be there, specifically intercooler piping, brake ducts, which are going to be important for this car. As I understand, the Evo 10s have a tendency to boil brake fluid. So we have some brake duct adapters that Ethan had bought, and we're going to see if we can improve those in some way or another. So we need brake ducting plumbing. In the diffuser, it'd be nice to incorporate front diffusers, and all of those things, the intercooler piping, brake ducting, front diffusers, they all take up about the same real estate in the front of the car. So we kind of got to address that. And another thing that I want to do as much as possible is bring weight in and down as much as we can as well. So there's actually going to be a pretty good intercooler mod that I think is going to help to clear up some of that clutter in front of the front wheels. And a big part of that is just changing the throttle side intercooler piping. So basically the plan is that over from the turbo to the hot side of the intercooler comes over the engine a little bit, and over the top of the radiator, things like that. We're gonna basically do the same thing, match that to the cold side into the throttle body. So potentially eliminating at least a foot and a half of intercooler piping, and again, bringing kind of weight to the middle, clearing up some mess on the left side of the vehicle in front of the front wheels. So that kind of opens up now some brake ducting options. So before I can do anything, changing the bumper aero, doing a splitter, any of that stuff, the fabrication has to take place. So I pulled this in, pulled this out. It's got no intercooler, no charge pipes. It's just basically a sitting running motor. They had the motor out to do a clutch not too long ago, and basically talked about just leaving everything off because I'm gonna start with making all new charge pipes scratch. So there's been a little bit of issue with blowing off couplers, and I'm not sure if that's just that the bead rolls aren't maybe high enough of a profile, maybe the clamps were tight enough. But we're just gonna eliminate all that and go with Vangean clamps. So we'll just use 4 of those and make a really simple system, you know, that way. So we get a good amount of flex steel, and there's just no way to blow those clamps off. So that's gonna be on the agenda. Then we have to make mounting plates for the front wing, the splitter rather. It's gonna kind of grow as a project pretty well from there. Got side aero to take care of. We're gonna open up the fenders, the back of the front bumper, the back of the rear bumper, do something with side skirts. We'll see what we can get away with can't use an under tray, so I'm not gonna call it an under tray. We're gonna call it a heat sink or a skid plate, or I don't know, we'll figure something out. But can't do a flat floor. We're gonna see what we can do to work around that inside the rules, and then ultimately ending in the diffuser. And before we can do the diffuser, there are things like the diff pump and a PCV system, or not PCV, but evap system that occupy kind of areas right behind the back wheels. So those need to be dealt with. So I'm gonna move the rear diff pump and all that into the trunk area, and we'll do something else with the evap. So those things, you know, there's obstacles that are in the way of getting to the aero, and that's kind of what my initial job was, which is why Ethan had reached out to me, was to handle a full aero package front to back on the car. And then it kind of grew from there as well. There are a lot of areas that I think the car can see some improvement before next race season. But if you want to follow Ethan Hunter, the owner of this car, I'll make sure to follow, or excuse me, share all his social media links. So I think he's got a YouTube channel. I think obviously Instagram, Facebook, all those things. So I'll put those in the link down below. And as time goes on, I'll kind of share links with all the products that we buy to put in here. Now, yeah, that's pretty much a wrap. Kind of get a little bit closer with the camera, and yeah, we'll kind of post this as a little preview for upcoming series. Next one's probably going to be, I think we'll just jump into some fabricating, get right into it, do the intercooler mod, upper radiator support, and yeah, just kind of go from there, take it a day at a time. I'm gonna try to do this almost like a, you know, a daily, you know, vlog kind of thing as I make progress through it. So without further ado, walk around, have a good one.